Hello there. Dr. Bill Crawford here, psychologist, speaker, author of 7 books, host of 2 PBS specials. Here again to bring you another tip on how to help you create the life you want. Specifically, how to use my life from the top of the mind philosophy to bring more clarity, confidence, creativity to everything you do. Today I want to look at the subject of mistakes and shame. I know I've kind of talked about those separately in the past, but I want to put them together because have you noticed, sometimes when we're young, sometimes they get put together. I don't know, has anybody ever said to you, you should be ashamed of yourself? Now notice I didn't say, you should really look at your choices and make better choices in the future. You should ask, does this really represent the best of who you are? And see how you want to do that differently in the future. They said you should be ashamed of yourself. And you know, as kids, we took that to heart. Well, gosh, maybe I should be ashamed of myself. Maybe I'm someone I can't trust. Maybe I'm someone that has to look to others for validation or wisdom because I can't trust myself because I'm someone I should be ashamed of. Now, there are some mistakes that we certainly don't want to repeat. And yet, I'm going to suggest that shame is not the energy we want to use to avoid that mistake. Matter of fact, I'm not even sure avoiding the mistake is what we're going for. There's a quote that came to me when I was working with a client that says, you know, when our purpose becomes avoidance, our life becomes a void. If we just kind of try to avoid this and avoid that and avoid making this mistake and avoid that person, we create this void that is based on fear of doing the wrong thing, being the wrong way. And that fear actually throws us into the lower 20% of the brain, this kind of reactive brain where we don't make good decisions. For those of you who follow my life from the top of the mind philosophy, you know, we've got the brainstem, we've got the limbic system, middle part of the brain, got the neocortex, this upper 80% of the brain, what I call the top of the mind. This is where we have clarity, confidence, creativity. This is where we make our best decisions. This is where the learning comes from. So what I suggest we do is look at a mistake as a mistake, an action that we took that missed. You know, did you know the original meaning of the word sin was an archery term? It meant to miss the mark. So when we make a mistake, an action that we took that missed the mark, we go, okay, good information. Knowing what I know now, how would I do that differently in the future? If I was teaching someone I love to learn from that without needing to fear the bad behavior, but look and learn and make better good behavior choices in the future, what would that look like? See, again, that's where we access this upper 80% of the brain, where we make our best choices, where we can trust our own inner guide, our ability to access that wisdom that allows us to be the captain of our own ship, to be able to make choices in the future that help us create the life we want. If this is something you like, I'm going to encourage you to consider kind of looking at mistakes in a new way. Kind of minimize the shame and begin to look at the learning that comes from it. Apply that learning to the future. Ask that neocortex question, knowing what I know now, how would I do this differently in the future? And begin to put this in practice in your life, in your child's life, in your experience of life, so that we begin to take an inevitable part of who we are, making mistakes, and begin to do that differently in the future. If you would like me to come to your organization, kind of teach you and others how to kind of learn from mistakes versus going into that shame or resisting it, all you got to do is go to my website, billcrawfordphd.com, hit the contact button. Love to talk with you about that. In the meantime, here's to you, bringing more clarity, confidence, creativity to everything you do, even when you make a mistake. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.